Hey guys, Dr. J here from drmcleese.org, and I wanted to spend just a few moments today giving you some tips and ideas for building the intimacy in your Christian marriage. Now, just as a disclaimer, this is not going to be about sexual intimacy, but instead about intimacy in general. Stay tuned because more of those videos will come about actually building the sexual intimacy. But for now, I want to give you 5 tips for building your marital intimacy so that you can enjoy a richer marriage between the two of you. So tip number 1 is to play together. Now, I'm going to be doing a video just on play next week, so you'll get to see that then. But I want to encourage you to spend some time as a couple enjoying life together. A lot of times as adults, we forget what it's like to just enjoy life and play and not take ourselves too seriously. So I want to encourage you to find ways to do that with your spouse. This is a great opportunity for some date time together and just for enjoying one another's company. It's highly important to do that, and a lot of times we forget to do just that after dating and getting married. And so I want to encourage you to go back to those fun times of dating. Think of some of the things that you enjoyed doing and implement those strategies in your marriage now. Again, I'm going to talk about it more next week, so stay tuned for an entire video all about how you can develop that playfulness if you don't currently have that in your marriage. All right, that was number 1, play together. Number 2 is pray together. So most couples find that they feel much more connected when they're spending time growing that spiritual part of their lives. And so I encourage you to talk with your spouse, find out what it is that some of their deeper struggles or maybe the places where they're trying to hear from the Lord right now, and lean into those moments by actually praying with your spouse. Now, I also think it's wonderful to pray for your spouse. So it's a good thing to make sure that you're daily or at least weekly offering up some prayers for your spouse, for God to grow them and love on them and just really show up for them. So I would encourage you to do that. But if you can, if you're comfortable with it, and if you're not comfortable, maybe grow in this area too. Every once in a while, actually speak your prayers out loud so your spouse can hear them. It can mean a great deal for couples to know that their spouse loves them enough to actually spend time in prayer for them. So I encourage you to do that. All right, number 3 is work together. So we have play together, pray together, and work together. Now, when I say work together, I specifically mean household chores and duties and things that must be done in your home. I encourage you to talk about how you can do that as a couple and how you can come together to get those tasks done. A lot of couples, when they're surveyed, will say that they both believe that they do the majority of the housework. Clearly, that can't actually happen when we look at actual statistics. Somebody really does more housework, or you guys both do the same amount. But for couples who feel like the other is never involved, that's where the tension comes in. So I would encourage you to have a conversation with your spouse and find out, are we on the same page here? Are we working together to get these tasks completed, and what needs to be done? It might also give you a moment to decide what maybe doesn't need to be done that we can just kind of let go so that we can spend time together doing the play or the pray together. So talk to each other about how to tackle those household duties together so that you can work together. All right, here's number 4. Recall past happy moments that you've had. For couples that can think back on positive experiences with one another, they feel happier in their relationship. So if you're looking to build your connection and build that intimacy with one another, I would encourage you to think about what are some of the happy moments we've had together. And even better, recreate some of those if you can. So maybe you remember seeing a movie at a drive-in theater, and I know those are hard to find nowadays. But if you did something like that, maybe try to recreate that moment and find another drive-in theater where you guys can remember some of those first date experiences. So think of happy moments and try to implement them again in your marriage now. And then number 5, start a new hobby together. So another way that you can build your intimacy is for you guys to decide together what is something that one of us enjoys that maybe the other has never done, or look at something totally new altogether so that you get to begin this process together of doing something. I have said the word together so much during this video, but I would encourage you to find ways to just enjoy doing life with one another. Look for a new hobby that you both enjoy. And if you're thinking, I have no idea what I enjoy, that's okay. You can actually, Groupon is a really cool way to see what kind of activities and events are going on in your area. And you may find something that way that you want to keep doing. So explore what's going on in your world, especially if you're seeing this video when it's being released during the summertime. There are always lots of activities around us, and many of them you can even do really cheaply or do for free. So check out some things that you might be able to do together. Okay, now I want to give you kind of a bonus way to build the intimacy in your relationship, specifically because I've started a new community group, and I absolutely believe that community is one of the top ways that we can build relationship with one another, but with our spouse as well, because there's something about Christian community that can help us to just do life a lot better, even in our marriage relationship. So the reason I believe this is many years ago, I actually had a supervisor tell me, back when I was studying counseling, who told me one of the best ways for couples to maintain relationship and to grow and mature and have success during the counseling process is to have a strong support system. And we can do that with community. You don't have to be in a place of deep need to find what you need in relationship. Or in other words, you don't have to be in a place of deep sorrow or pain or hurt to get encouragement and get growth and maturity from a group. And community matters greatly. One of the worst things that the pandemic did to us, and obviously the deaths were horrible, the sickness was horrible, and then another horrible piece was the isolation that many of us experienced. And much research has shown that anxiety and depression and things like this have gotten much worse since the pandemic because of that lack of community with one another. And so Galatians 6:2 reminds us that we can bear one another's burdens, and in doing that, we fulfill the law of Christ. So part of really leaning into our Christianity and doing those things that Christ exemplified for us is to have that community support and love one another and have compassion for one another. Within group support, that happens very well. So I fully believe that Christians should be doing this and doing this very well. Hebrews 10:24 reminds us that we spur one another on toward good deeds. One of the reasons I love when couples are in community with other strong Christian couples is because we find this encouragement with one another. So you hear of one couple going on a date or going on a vacation, and it just kind of encourages you to want to do the same. So as we talk about the things that are going well, we can actually build one another up and encourage one another towards these good, healthy marriage behaviors. And then finally, the last one I'm going to share, although there are multiple scriptures about joining one another and working with one another in unity, the last one I'm going to share is from Romans 12, and it's in verses 4-5, where we are being taught. Paul is teaching about the body and how there are many parts but one function, and that we all work together, and that one is not better than the other. And so when you have a good, strong Christian community, you're actually living that part out, where you're all learning how to really just do life together and how to see that every one of us are important. And so it gives us an ability to have compassion for one another and to help one another out. So the things that I'm strong in, I can help others with, and then the things that I'm weak in, others can help me with. So this is why community is so important. Brene Brown is well known for talking about vulnerability and how that strengthens us and how we can learn and have deep relationship because of that. And the only way to actually practice vulnerability is with another human being. And so we do that by sharing our hopes and our goals and our pain points and supporting one another in this journey that we call life, or this journey we call marriage. So community can actually, in fact, grow your affection for one another and grow your affection for Christ. This is why I think community is so important. But one of the other fun factors about community is that we can actually get great date ideas from one another, and we can implement those in our own marriages. For instance, I recently asked a question about dates within the group that I'm running, and one of the guys there had given some really cool date ideas, one of which I hadn't thought of before, saying that you could go to a Shakespeare in the Park event, and these events are run all of the time through many cities in our world. And so things like this give you an opportunity to learn, how can I maybe see date nights in different ways than I have before? And that adds some creativity and fun within your relationship. Okay, the last reason that community, or at least the last one I'm talking about right now, that community is so important is because it gives us accountability. So we mature and we grow when we're together. So all of us can have struggles in our marriage. It It doesn't matter who you are, what your level of education is, how long you've been married. All of us can have struggles in certain seasons of our marriage, whether it's from internal factors, something going on in us, going on in the relationship, or even external factors going on with family or different things in our world, like the stresses that so many of us are under now. Community helps us feel like we're not alone in this and that we have other people supporting us. Now, obviously, I've talked about community a lot because it's so important to my heart. I want to encourage you, if you've been looking for some Christian community to support you, check out your church, check out your neighbors. Maybe you have friends that you can start talking to. And also, if you're looking for support, you can check out the group that I have. We'd love to have you be a part of our group. You can check it out at the link below. The group is called Better Than the Honeymoon, and you can click on that link and check out all of the information you need to know about it. Hey, whatever you do, spend time this week making sure that you're growing the intimacy in your marriage so that you can be connected and you can feel like you really are one with your spouse. So until next time, God bless you, your marriage, and your intimacy.